Welcome back, everybody, to a Younger View in Sports. My name is James Irvin, and we have a lot to talk about. So, before we do get into all this stuff, I'm going to be covering every free agent signing, no matter how big, no matter how small. But any signing on March 16th, even though this video is going out on March 16th, will not be in this video. In fact, all the signings from March 15th will be in this video, and the video going out on March 17th will be all the signings from March 16th. And then on the March 18th, if my video schedule goes to plan, usually never does, that will be covering all the New England Patriots signings. So if you don't see any Patriots signing in here, that is why I have my own video planned separately for them. So without further ado, let's get into the signings. So Ravens signed Kevin Zeitler to a 3-year, $22 million deal, boosting up that offensive line. They need a center, so they probably could slide him over to center. Cardinals signed Marcus Golden to a 2-year, $9 million deal, 4.5 sacks, 1 interception. He had 30 pressures on the year last year, too. I think that's a good signing for them. Hassan Reddick is most likely gone. They've got in J.J. Watt, so he'll create blocks, or be taking blocks away from Marcus Golden, who can get in there and have more sacks. Buccaneers franchise tag Shaq Barrett. Why? Can we not do that? I love Shaq Barrett. 2019 had a breakout year, 19.5 sacks. 8 sacks this year, 42 pressures. Pure edge rusher. He is a great edge rusher. Top 5 in the league. Maybe even top 3. He's really, really good. I really, really like him. I did not want him to go back to Tampa, but hey, he does. So that is cool. 4-year, $72 million deal for that. Absolutely deserves it. Lions get Romeo Okwara, 3 years, $39 million deal, 10 sacks last year. Is really the only bright spot of that defense last year, who was really, really bad last year. Panthers get Pat Eflin, 3-year, $13.5 million, $6 million guaranteed. They're boosting up that offensive line because they're making a push for Deshaun Watson. They didn't make any big signings yesterday. They got franchise tag to the Mountain. Yeah, they're getting Deshaun Watson. It makes too much sense. Then the Texans, another team making some moves. They signed Cameron Grugier-Hill to a 1-year, $3.25 million deal, 28 tackles, 1 sack. Texans are getting lower tier players on lower tier deals just so no move they've made has changed my mind on them. They're still going to be a dumpster fire next year, but hey, they're making little signings. 49ers signed Jason Verrett to a 1-year, $5.5 million deal. I expect over the next season they'll be working out a longer term deal. He's great. He's a really underrated corner. He's now the number 1 corner now that Richard Sherman is gone. So that is really good for San Francisco because without him, it really was nothing last year. And then corner would become a lot bigger need going into the draft. He's now the number 1 corner. I imagine this is prove yourself deal. Like I said, they're probably going to work out getting a deal out. But Richard Sherman is gone. Jason Verrett is now the number 1 corner on that team. Texans signed Pro Bowl returner Andre Roberts to a 2-year, $6 million deal. He's really good on returns, but not too big signing there. The Jags, this is Urban Meyer's first ever signing as a Jacksonville Jaguars head coach. So they got Roy Robertson Harris to a 3-year, $24.4 million deal. I think this is a slightly overpay. He didn't really do anything last year, more of a rotational guy for Chicago, but he could be the number 1 defensive tackle in Jacksonville and shine, which again, all we hope for all these players, they get their contract, they go out and they get paid. That's all I'm rooting for. So there it is. There's that. Then another big one, Joe Thuney, that signs with the Chiefs for a 5-year, $80 million deal. That is huge because they released Eric Fisher, Mitchell Schwartz, the center's testing for agency. Now they got Joe Thuney. Thankfully, Patrick Mahomes doesn't need to run for 497 yards like he did in the Super Bowl again. They had to release some offensive linemen. They got Joe Thuney, protection for Patrick Mahomes. Absolutely. I still think you go offensive tackle in the first round or even in the second round in the draft to keep boosting up that offensive line, make it younger and make it a lot cheaper for Patrick Mahomes. The Jets signed Jared Davis to a 1-year, $7 million deal, 46 tackles last year. Again, this is what the Jets are doing. Jets are making moves. Teams with not that many with cap space are making the moves to get these solid players. Not good players, but solid players. The Jags signed Jamal Agnes to a 3-year, $21 million deal. He had that great moment last year where he turned a punt against Tampa Bay. He's wide receiver, punt return. I imagine that you're going to be a special teams player, kickoff returns, punt returns, all of that. He'll shine in that role. He's really good at that. The Browns signed John Johnson III for a 3-year, $34 million deal, one of the most underrated safeties in the league. They got Andrew Sandeo off the field. I think that was the big thing for me, was getting Andrew Sandeo off the field. Now you're going to have Grant Delpit, John Johnson III, really underrated. The Browns are going to do great things next year. They are the favorites to win the AFC North. They got another big defensive piece right there to help improve that defense. I think you go edge in the draft, maybe offensive line a little bit, although their offensive line is great. Again, I don't see much what the Cleveland Browns need, but John Johnson definitely fills a hole for them. 49ers signed Samson Ebukam from the Rams, 2-year, $13.5 million deal. Good pass rusher. They're gonna have Nick Bosa back, so he'll obviously be taking some blocks. You can move him on the inside. A second-year Javon Kinlaw. Great signing for San Francisco. Packers fan, I hope San Francisco just has automatic downfall. But 4.5 sacks last year, so and a lot of QB hits. So he'll be really good getting the passer, building back up that San Francisco 49er defense. And the Texans signed Malik Collins to a 1-year, $6 million deal. Again, more of a rotational player. He's good, cheap, not a bad signing for the Texans. Steelers signed Cameron Sutton to a 2-year, $9 million deal. Boosting up that corner with Joe Hayden back there. I like the signing a lot. I think he'll do great things there in that 2-year deal. Again, young and cheap. Shelby Harris signs with the Broncos. That is huge. Great run stuffer right there. Because you got Von Miller, Bradley Chubb off the edge. Now you got Shelby Harris right there. Really like that sign for Denver. Chargers signed Michael Harris to a 3-year deal. Another corner. Corner is a weak spot for them last week. For them, I like this signing a lot, and they will improve that. Yannick Ngakoue, who was really good with Jacksonville, had 8 sacks last year. I think people are forgetting that. And 26 pressures. But now he's with the Raiders. That will take some pressure off of Max Crosby. Yannick Ngakoue in that Las Vegas system with John Gruden. I think he has a really good chance to bounce back next year. And then Leonard Floyd signs with the Rams, 10.5 sacks last year. Again, Rams just getting pass rush. They're stocking out Lou Samson Ebukam, they know, so they go get Leonard Floyd. The Jags signed Dewan Shoot, 5.5 sacks. Solid pickup right there. Again, lots of people knowing things. Urban Meyer building this defense. You have Josh Allen, not the quarterback, of course, the edge rusher Josh Allen, coming off the edge, and now you're going to have him right there, inside interior. It's a pretty good signing. Ronald Darby, this is one of the underrated signings that I think will go under the radar for a lot of people, but I think could pay off in the future. Ronald Darby, 3-year, $30 million deal for the Broncos. Broncos corners were terrible. I don't think corner is as big as need now, but I still think you either go Patrick Surtain or Caleb Farley with number 9, or hey, you could go Trey Lance, quarterback, if he falls. But Ronald Darby, that's a really nice pickup for the Denver Broncos. I really do like that, boosting up a weak corner group. Rob Gronkowski with the Buccaneers signs a 1-year, $10 million deal. He saw Tom came back. He now wants to run it back with Tampa. No doubt in my mind he was going anywhere else. 1 year, $10 million. Probably a little overpay. I think Gronk probably should have taken a pay cut there, just to stay with Tom. But I had no doubt in my mind he wasn't leaving. All right, so now we got a couple Jags signing. Jags signed Philip Dorsett, speedy receiver right there. They also signed Rayshawn Jenkins, a safety out there to help boost that secondary. Solid signing. And then the Jags signed Carlos Hyde to a 2-year, $6 million deal. I definitely don't like that deal. You have James Robinson last year. You can get a rookie running back or an undrafted rookie running back. We saw that with James Robinson, and it seemed to work. I don't like it. I mean, veteran presence back there, it's probably going to be a young team, but he's just going to be taking away carries from James Robinson, so don't really like that signing. Titans, they've made some big moves. We'll get to that later. Deonco Audrey to a 3-year, $25 million deal, 7.5 sacks last year. Yeah, great move right there. Their D-line needs it. You have Jeffrey Simmons. You had your Davion Clowney. Maybe he bounces back next year. Who knows? Something. But that's a really good signing. He'll fill up that interior D-line. Jets, big one. One of the first top receivers off the board. Of course, we still have Marvin Jones, Kenny Galladay, and Juju Smith-Schuster left. But Corey Davis has gone to the New York Jets, getting weapons for Zach Wilson. 3-year, $37 million deal. He wasn't doing too spectacular, but in a contract year, he had a breakout year, 67 receptions, or 954 yards, 5 touchdowns. Yeah, really good signing right there. Obviously, that is huge, absolutely huge for the Jets. No doubt in my mind now they're going with Zach Wilson or Trevor Lawrence if he goes to them, but there's no way Trevor Lawrence is falling from number 1. I can tell you that much. But now there's no question. They're not going Jamar Chase. They're not going Devontae Smith. They may go defense. They're not doing that. They are getting a quarterback, and Corey Davis is the guy that will help elevate whichever quarterback they decide to take. I think it'd probably be Zach Wilson. They might go Justin Fields, but whoever it is, Corey Davis will definitely help elevate them. Then, Corey Linsley becomes the highest paid center. 5 years, $62 million with the Los Angeles Chargers. They are boosting up that offensive line for Justin Herbert. Absolutely. Justin Herbert's new best friend in Corey Linsley. Absolutely deserves it. He was great for Green Bay. Sad we couldn't bring him back, but really, really, really big deal. This is really nice for the Chargers. I think they're a dark horse playoff team next year. They can maybe go on a little bit of a run. I really like Justin Herbert. And now he's got a new center. Yeah, really nice signing right there. Also, they have Brian Bulaga. So they are just really taking the Green Bay Packers offensive line and plugging it in. Who knows? Maybe they sign Rick Wagner today. Devontae Booker to the Giants, 2 year, $6 million deal. They got a running back. They have Saquon Barkley, who's had some injury issues. I think this money probably could have been spent more on offensive line to help Saquon Barkley. But hey, you got a guy that's a solid player to help with Saquon Barkley if he gets hurt again, which we never want. Okay, too many players have been ruined by injuries, and that's really sad. Dolphins signed Ethan Carter to a 3-year deal as just a tight end fullback type player. I just knocked over my Green Bay Packer football helmet, so that is a studio error. You're welcome for watching that. I'm just going to leave it there. Let's get back into it. Chargers signed Matt Fielder to a 3-year, $21 million deal. Building up the offensive line for Justin Herbert. They saw that's what they need to do. Maybe they want to take this out of free agency, so in the draft, they don't need to focus on offensive line. Then go get a big-time weapon. They don't need a big-time weapon. I like the Chargers a lot. Then you get some defense. Corner. Yeah, you need some corner. Safety. Yeah, well, they signed a corner. So, either way. Oh, okay. Then, Bud Dupree to the Tennessee Titans. Woo! That's a huge signing for Tennessee. Absolutely. They were going to make one big move. That was the one big move they needed to make. They had 0 pass rush last year. The defensive line wasn't spectacular, though Jeffrey Simmons was spectacular. Defense was holding them back. They got Bud Dupree. He can be a star linebacker to hold down that defense. He can come off the edge and rush the passer. Absolutely love that move. Bud Dupree to the Tennessee Titans. Then the Jets signed Carl Lawson to a 3-year, $45 million deal. Wow, okay. Just everybody's getting paid today. Solid. He had the most QB hits in the NFL. Most QB hits. He wasn't getting the sacks, but he was getting to quarterbacks last year. I think this is huge. That will definitely help the New York Jets pass rush. Bengals. Here's where it's an overpay and I don't like. They signed Trey Hendrickson to a 4-year, $60 million deal. What? He had a lot of sacks last year, but if you watch the game, there were a lot of cleanup sacks from Cameron Jordan, okay? This guy, he wasn't really that good. He was just getting a lot of cleanup sacks because you had Cameron Jordan on the other side of him. I think this is a huge overpay by the Bengals. Who knows? Maybe he goes out and shocks the world and becomes... I just think this is a big overpay. I do not think the signing will pan out at all. I don't. I think he had a lot of cleanup sacks. I think that was... I don't know. I don't like the move right there. I think if you would have got him for cheaper, then maybe I would have liked the move. But Bengals get Trey Hendrickson. They needed some pass rush. They got it, I guess, after releasing Carlos Dunlap. Texans, Kevin Pierre-Louis to a 2-year, $8 million deal. Again, just getting lower-tier players for cheaper contracts to get some depth around them so they just develop young players. Who knows what the Texans are doing right now. Either way, again, not a sign that's going to make me like, oh, they're contenders now. Oh, they're not going to win 4 games. No, they're winning 3 games. What? Vikings signed Dalvin Tomlinson to a 2-year, $22 million deal. Again, probably another signing that will go under the radar. That is a huge, huge signing right there for the Minnesota Vikings. D-line was terrible. You get him now. You're going to have Danielle Hunter back. Absolutely. I like that signing a lot for the Vikings. As a Packers fan, I don't. But that will definitely help with the interior D-line. And that's a really, 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 really good signing for the Vikings. And then Ryan Fitzpatrick, one of the only quarterbacks signed yesterday. Ryan Fitzpatrick goes to Washington football team. Look, that's big. Okay, so now you're going to have a quarterback competition between Taylor Heinicke and Ryan Fitzpatrick. Or maybe you bring Ryan Fitzpatrick in to mentor Taylor Heinicke to be your guy. We saw what he did with Tua. Now he can do that. And if Taylor Heinicke's not playing, boom, you're Ryan Fitzpatrick, a guy who can start anywhere. We thought he was going to retire. Either way, great job with Ryan Fitzpatrick. I like it. So, that was a lot of signings, and we didn't even cover the Patriots signing. Again, we're going to have a whole separate video on that because they are still. But deals are still coming in right now. We're going to have a lot more to talk about tomorrow. Make sure you're here. And I am covering every little thing. And again, if I miss a signing, please try to remember I'm a 15-year-old kid sitting in my bedroom talking to a microphone. I'm a one-man crew. I'm getting all this information myself. So, again, if I don't pick up your favorite player or I haven't really paid attention much to your favorite player, again, I'm trying my best here. But, again, support on those videos have been crazy. I never thought we'd get here. We are on the road to 100 subscribers, so make sure to subscribe. And thank you for listening.